Welcome to another episode of Behind the Dreamers with the Starter Girls. I'm Jennifer Loading.
And I'm Brianna Drelas. And today we are talking to the dreamers, the creators, achievers, and magic makers.
That's right. These are our friends. These are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Today's episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area and looking for some photography work, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com.
And a special shout out to Upbeat Media Productions. Use Upbeat for all of your full event production needs. And if you want to get in touch with Chloe at Upbeat Productions, just let us know.
And we will connect you.
And we are in Chloe's studio right now.
We are, so check it out. This is where we're at like a lot of the time.
I know, this is where we're at a lot.
Yeah, we like it here, so good stuff. All right, we have a guest in studio today, and we're super excited to have her here. We love it when guests are here because it is so much more fun.
Yes.
Right?
And you're an amazing guest. We're just so thrilled to talk to you today.
I know. Okay.
I'm so glad that I'm here.
Yes. And so I'm going to tell the audience, okay, so you just have to like sit back and listen to this bio because I'm going to read it. I'm going to get through it. It's awesome. And just know that like I'm not reading all of it because she's amazing.
No, don't read all of it.
She's amazing. All right. Anita Hawkins is a mother of two, a model, a 4-time author, global philanthropist, certified nutrition specialist, franchise owner, a mentor, producer, and entrepreneur extraordinaire with a fierce determination to succeed at whatever she sets out to accomplish. All right, Anita grew up in Gary, Indiana, where though being a teen mom, her entrepreneurial spirit took flight when she inherited her grandmother's hair salon. Anita seized this opportunity immediately, completed her cosmetology license, and successfully built that business. In 2000, she married Major League Baseball pitcher LaTroy Hawkins shortly after relocating to Texas. The move to Texas proved prosperous in business as well, as Anita founded Troker Industries, LLC in 2011. Through Troker Industries, Anita acquired numerous land developments around the state and celebrated a tremendous victory when she sold a parcel of land to D.R. Horton for $1.53 million.
Hello.
That is so awesome. That's the real estate.
Right.
After being diagnosed with a rare blood disorder, Anita decided it was time to make some lifestyle changes of her own. Yeah. Her love of healthy eating and exercise led her to her next big business venture, Fresh Healthy Cafe, receiving its master franchise designation for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Her tenacity and business savviness is not gone without notice. The National Association of Professional Women recognized Anita for outstanding excellence and dedication to her profession and the advancement of women. Additionally, she was recognized as one of the National Association of Distinguished Professionals' prestigious Women of Distinction. 10 Shades of Success also identified her as one of Dallas' most successful women, and she has served as the keynote speaker for their award banquet. So welcome to the show, Anita. We're super thrilled to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
That's such a fun bio. Like I like reading it. It's so awesome. Like getting awards, like that would be so much fun to read. I get excited reading it.
I know, it's so great.
I know.
Chills. You've done so many amazing things and impacted so many, lives, and you continue to do it. Like, you're still going. This is like just the beginning. You're just scratching the surface.
It is. Like I stay busy, and I was talking earlier today because someone was asking me, well, when is your next trip? Because normally when they call me, they say, what part of the country are you in? And I have a friend that every time she sees me, she says, been around the world, She doesn't even call me by my name. Like she just sings that. Okay, where are you at, Anita? I'm like, oh, Lord. I said, is it that bad? Am I always gone? She said, yes, you're always gone.
Well, and I think when I reached out to you, that was the first question. Hey, are you back in Dallas right now? Or like, where are you? I did ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah. But like for things that are up and coming right now, I will be leaving in May to head to Zimbabwe. We drilled water wells in a widower's village. There were women and children that walked daily 18 miles a day to get water. And I will be going to meet the women that myself and my organization, Find One Reason to Smile, we drilled water wells in their village so they no longer have to walk to get water.
Oh my gosh. So May is the big travel date to make that connection.
I'm super excited. Super excited about that. And I'm being honored here. And I won't be here to accept my award for something else. I'm like, is it okay if I send someone else to receive my award? Yeah. They're not happy about it, but I'm like, I won't be here.
You're doing good in the world. I want to just, before we even get going, I want you to talk about this organization, because that was something I didn't mention, and I know you're a philanthropist. So tell us real quick, so our audience knows what this organization is.
My organization is Find One Reason to Smile, and I actually launched it at Brianna's restaurant in 2014. I launched Find One Reason to Smile as a nonprofit. That was 2016. I launched it in 2014, but it wasn't a nonprofit. So I was always, helping other organizations, just always doing something. And people would just send me stuff, and they're like, oh, we just want to cut a check. We know that you're helping. I'm like, hey, it's not a nonprofit. They said, we don't care. We just want to, help in any way possible. Well, I started off basically pouring into other nonprofits and trying to figure out a way to bridge the gap. What can I do? What can I offer as far as my services? So that's when I started cutting hair. Of course, having the salon and having the barber and beauty background, I said, a lot of people just want to jump off and say, I want to start a nonprofit. That isn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to go in and learn from all of the people that were making a way for all of us. And it was a friend of mine, Deborah Bowles. I now sit on her board of directors. But me watching her and seeing everything that she was doing, and then watching another friend of mine, Quinn Cho, with her organization, Feeding. So everyone was doing something different. And I said, I knew I wanted to serve women that were victims of domestic abuse and sex trafficking. I myself was a victim of domestic abuse. I was raped and molested from the time I was 5 years old. So I have that experience. And then coming from, into being a teen mom. So I can sit and talk to the teen moms and let them know I was in your shoes, because a lot of them are faced with, so many different trials and tribulations. And you give them the opportunity to see me. A lot of people say, oh, you don't have a story. You've never gone through anything. And I said, look, the Lord has literally kept me. I have been kept, where I can still go out. I don't want to look like what I've been through. I want to be able to look at young girls and say, you know what? There is another path. You don't have to continue down the road of promiscuity. We all have a different vice. All of us have vices that, whether, especially through rape and molestation, it could be overeating. It could be cutting, it could be drinking, it could be promiscuity. There's so many things that we go through, battling low self-esteem, and we think that that's the end. Like, this is all that I have to offer. So knowing your worth and knowing your value is so important. And that's what I strive for, with all of men, and men too. Men have gone through it too. So that's something else that I feed out there. Like, it's not just us.
Sure.
Our men go through every day. And oh my goodness, I've had so many stories with young guys that don't even know how to hold their children when they first have babies because of things that how they were tormented as children. So we all go through something. We all have a story. So it feels good to be able to share my story and know that it's helping someone else.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Just so much stuff. And I'm like, where do you begin? You know what I think would be great, because your title, for this podcast is lifestyle expert. And I think that would be great right there to start, and tell us what that is. What is a lifestyle expert?
Well, I was dubbed a lifestyle expert some years ago. I went to the BET Awards, and I was sitting with one of the ladies, and she asked me, what do you do? And I said, I do this, and she said, no, we're not doing that. When we're making an introduction, we're not doing that. So you are a lifestyle expert extraordinaire. And I've been dubbed that ever since. So based on, whatever market or whoever I need to talk to there, okay, well, we got a list of things we can choose from. So that works for us. So I can, if people want to request booking, whatever, I can take my EPK, break it down. Okay, I'll shoot them this, or I'll shoot it over here, whatever needs to be done. But, from being a builder, that was something that I had no idea that I wasn't even looking to be a builder. I was thrusted into that because a builder, he was just a bad businessman. He was a great builder. I still say he was a fantastic builder. He just didn't know how to handle business. So he sued me. I countersued. I won. I fought him for 6 years. And I said, I know you didn't know that I wanted to be a lawyer, but please know and believe that every I is dotted and every T is crossed. So I fought him for 6 years, and I won. Wow. And I obtained my license as a builder. So I actually launched, and I'm glad I saw that 2011. Yeah. I actually launched Trocar Builders in 2006.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, and I became my own builder. So I said, hey, I know what I want my house to look like because I drew it out before I even presented it to a builder. So that was how I got thrusted into being a builder. As far as an author, I always wanted to write books. I've always written, and I used to write when I was like in the fifth and sixth grade. I wrote for Skylark magazine. It was a magazine way back when. Wow. I would write poems and poetry and, just things like that. But I love to write. So in writing the book, I went to a conference in 2011. And that was my first time investing in me, from being a stay-at-home mom. And of course, when I wrote my book and I just popped out of nowhere, people were like, well, where have you been? We've never seen you before. Oh, I've just been a stay-at-home mom.
Just.
Right. But I made a list. There was an accountability project that we had to have. And I made a list of everything that I wanted to do in 5 years. And I did everything in 3. So being an author was one of them. I said I wanted to own a restaurant. And I purchased a franchise. I said that I wanted to be on the cover of a magazine, and I've probably been on the cover of about 10. I said that there were just so many things that I said that I wanted to do, and I did them. And I started cleaning. You go and you spring clean and things like that, and I found my list, and I said, wow, I did everything. Like everything that I said I wanted to do, I've done and more. So even in 2020, you have everybody was on Zoom calls and podcasts. And of course, it got really, really popular. And people would ask and say, well, how did COVID affect you? I said, well, actually, it was great. I was like, I wrote another book. I came out with Owning My Shit with owningmyshit.com. And I said, I wrote a curriculum. I went to school and got my license as a nutrition specialist. I said, it was actually great. So yeah, no issues here.
She pivots and she's on to the next.
Right. So I said, it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, there you go. That's what a lifestyle expert is. I love that you have so many things, because I think this is so great that you have just had all these different experiences in your life. I'm like picturing all these things that you're telling me. And like I said, when I was reading your bio, Brianna messages me yesterday. She's like, oh my gosh, you got to look at this bio. Like, where do we start? And I'm like, okay,
well,
yes.
It was the EPK that you sent me. It was the link, because I've never, ever seen a EPK. Do you call it your EPK?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen an EPK laid out like that before.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I don't know if you hired someone to do it or if you did it, but my goodness, that thing slayed me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought it was so impressive, beautifully laid out. I mean, I want one. Like, I want one that looks just like that. It was incredible, right?
It was
amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, gorgeous. And those photographs, like, oh. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
That was kind of a sidebar.
No, that was good. No, and I agree with you on that. And I think my point was just saying you have so many experiences that you can really come in from so many different angles with somebody. Right. And I think that's what makes this really neat. It's not just, hey, I'm this real estate mogul or whatever. I got this background in building. I've got I've got this nerve or this rare blood condition that I've had to deal with. I was a young teen mom. I've been an entrepreneur, an author. I mean, you've just done all of these incredible things, and so
there's a ton of depth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is great, because for people tuning in, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, and they're starting out in business, or maybe they've been at it for a while. And I kind of want to circle back with this EPK link, because you are excellent at branding and promoting yourself, your businesses, your philanthropies, your organization. And so many entrepreneurs are afraid to talk about what they do and, put themselves out there like that. And you do such a great job at it. So I guess, my question would be, what type of advice would you give to those young entrepreneurs starting out, or even if they've been in the business for a while and they struggle with that?
Yeah.
I would say, I guess for me, I'm not an introvert, as you know. I'm not an introvert, and I say, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're a socialite, you're this and that." And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm sociable. We have to be sociable. We have to be able to sell ourselves. And I'm not a salesman, but you have to be able to create, and this is something that I learned, is creating your elevator pitch. Yes. So get on the elevator, whether it's an elevator, escalator, you have to be able to get your pitch together right then and there. Yeah. So what can I give you, or what can I leave you with that's going to be a lasting impression, where you're like, you know what, I need to get to know you. So I think that that's important because a lot of times we sit in front of people and you don't know what to say, but we have to be strategic and intentional about putting that together and recording it in our mind over and over and over and preparing ourselves. So if we are in front of someone and we want them to know, and they may not be, like with my nonprofit organization, you may not have the funds to give, you know, to deposit or donate into Find One Reason to Smile, but you may know someone. You may have, you know, a bank or a restaurant or, you know, anyone that may have clothing, may have diapers, and say, you know what, I have someone I need to connect you with. Mm-hmm. But if I don't have that, if I don't have that pitch laid out in right here in my head, I'm never prepared. So if I'm never prepared, how do I know how to venture out to be able to have the necessary conversations to take that first step and then say, you know what, I can get to the second step. I can get to the next level. But we have to be able to have those pitches ready.
I would agree.
Absolutely.
With you on that.
Yeah.
So even with the EPK, like when you were talking about the that's important because I laid out everything, all of my accomplishments. So if they want to know, you know, the model, if they want to know the author, if they want to know the producer, anything that they want to know, it's all laid out in there. And a lot of people, you know, look for, they have ghostwriters. Nobody else can answer those questions but me. So even if I have someone to write it out, I still got to give you all the information. So why not take the time to say, okay, well, let's figure out, let's lay out. And that's why, like, if you see meet the author, here's the information on the author. Here's the information on the model. Here's the information on my accomplishments. So if anything that I've done, I think I put everything in there.
Yeah, sure.
I think that I did. So if anyone ever has any questions, page by page, everything is there. So it's all things Anita, and that's what it should be. It should be all things Anita, and all things Anita. That's owning my shit. That's the storm after the storm. It's the breakthrough. How did I get through how did I get to the breakthrough? How did I get to, writing a book with Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates and Malika Chopra, the top 50 leading women in the country, so it's literally just putting yourself out there. We have to. If we don't, we're going to be sitting in our little box at home like, okay, twiddling our thumbs. How do we get to the next level? We don't want to do that.
That's right. And I even think, like when you read her bio, because I pulled this off of there, even like the verbiage that you're using is so important, because so many times people, it's just, and I work with women on this all the time, just the verbiage they're using about themselves, how they talk, they speak about themselves and what they do in their business, you know, and like, sometimes I'll find that I'm working with them and they'll be like, well, I can't do this because I'm not this person, or I'm not like this person. And I'm always saying, listen to the verbiage that you're saying to yourself right now, because you're selling yourself. And so however you're selling yourself is how you're selling people that are looking at you. And so you look at this entrepreneur extraordinaire with a fierce determination to succeed at whatever she sets out. Those are powerful words.
Yeah.
And when you read that, you read that yourself, you're like, that's me.
It is. And it's like, and I tell people, even when you get up in the morning and you're speaking your affirmations, it's so important that we're speaking life. And I remember my godmother telling me years ago when I was a little girl, I would if I can't, and she wouldn't even let me get the tea out. No. There are some things that you may not be willing to do. There may be some things that you may not want to do, but you're going to put forth an effort and you're going to try. Never say that you didn't have the opportunity. Never say I can't. So even with opening up Fresh Healthy Cafe, that was the worst investment ever. The worst investment that I ever made, but it was what I wanted to do, and I did it my way. And I'll never be able to say I didn't try it.
Sure.
I had a great time doing it, but I had to invest so much of myself into it because people really didn't want to work. And I learned that. I said, people really don't want to work.
Yeah.
People complain about, I don't get paid enough money an hour. Well, you don't even put in the work for the first hour. You're sitting up like, we got inventory. We got a lot of stuff we need to be doing besides you just sitting around, twiddling on your phone. Right. So again, that was the worst investment, but I learned so much from that. So with, buying into a franchise, if it's not a Fortune 500 company, I know now how to create the blueprint to build your own franchise. So I help people create their own blueprint to build their own franchise. So there's always something to take away. It's a learning experience. So why not take that and say, okay, there may have been a bad experience, but what can I pull from it on a positive end?
Yes.
And she's
Absolutely.
got connections. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ooh.
She's like that. Let me pull something out of the hat here. If I can't help you, I'm gonna connect you. You got
Yes,
so
who
many
can help
things.
you?
I want to ask you a question because you there's just so many things that you have done, and I love this because it's not like definitely we're not gonna say you're not an achiever. You definitely are achieving. But I want to know, like, what does this process look like for you when you're going? You just kind of talked about, you know, if you fail, then you always look to gain something. What does this process look like for you when you're going after something? Like when you're set on, I'm going to make this happen.
I just do it.
Just do it.
If I pulled out my phone right now, I can go in my notes and I can show you everything that I'm doing right now. Not just oil, my company, notjustoil.com. I've been doing oils for years.
Okay.
My friends have been in pain and I'll make a little roller or something, you know, for back pain. Friends have acne. Anita, can you make me some for acne? Yeah, I'll make you some for acne.
Put it together.
My mom was diagnosed with cancer. She passed away in 2018. But I had a cancer rub that I would rub her down with after radiation, after her treatments. And a lot of people didn't know that I even had this company. And it wasn't a company per se at the time. It was just something that I wanted to do. Well, now I'm launching a full healing house, you know, with my oil because this is what God gave me. And I know it's for me. And I don't care how many other companies, because a lot of times we'll psych ourselves out and we'll say, oh, the market is too broad. Right. There's so many people that are doing oils, but it's not my oil. It's not your brand. It's not your brand. So why can't we launch? Right. Why can't we go out and like, okay, this is for me. This is for my people and the people that follow me. So there's 47,000 people that follow me on Instagram. So why wouldn't I be able to market what I do to them? Yeah. So if it's something new, if it's something, you know, fresh, it's an idea that God gave you, launch it. A lot of times, again, I've seen so many people psych themselves out and it's like, well, such and such has it, or this person has that, or no, it's not going to be. How do you know if you don't try?
Yeah. Isn't that saying there's no such thing as an original idea? Because it's something's always been done.
Right.
Yeah.
It's again what you said. It's your take on it.
Yeah.
It's your approach. It's your like stamp.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
And something else I want to tell entrepreneurs: if you come up with a brand or anything, if God gives you anything, I don't care if you dream it, if it's a thought, always know that somebody else is thinking the same thing. Go and buy the .com, the .net, the .biz, the .org. Go and buy it.
It's good.
Go to GoDaddy, go to whatever site you need to go to, but go and buy it. I don't care if you're not, I probably got about 25 of them. Anytime I think of something, I literally go and see if it's available and I get it. Because I may not be ready for it now, but 5 years from now, I'm going to use it for something. Because I may not be in a position financially right now, but something's gonna pop. Like my uncle used to say, something's gonna come up.
Yeah.
Something's gonna pop off. Something's gonna happen. Something is going to put me in position where I can launch that .com, that .biz, that .net.
I love that.
So and my dad would
like
say,
manifestation of it
yes,
too, right?
the 7 P's. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So if you plan ahead, you'll be ready and prepared for later. So don't be afraid to prepare. Buy that business name.
I literally just thought of one. I'm like, as you're saying that, I'm like, oh boy, I better go scoop
Well,
that
and
up.
Go
that
and
just
scoop
made
it
me
up.
Think about one that my husband and I were talking about something. And I'm like,
Go
I just
and
get
buy
that.
it.
I
Go
want to.
buy it.
That is such good advice. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that before. That is so good. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I also grabbed all the domain names of my daughters. Like I grabbed all of theirs because I was like, we don't know. We don't know what they're
you
gonna
don't know.
So I want to make sure I have their domain names.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good, Brianna. I never thought about that either.
Hey,
Good
thanks.
stuff. I think about a lot of things, but this is why this show is so good. We learn different things, and and sometimes somebody says something that was something that, I'm sure a lot of people haven't thought about that because I didn't.
Yeah.
That's good.
Absolutely. Love that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I would love to know what advice you would give, and you've given so much advice,
has.
but to your younger self, like the young Anita who was going through all the things, who was a teenage mom, like now you're speaking to her, what would you say?
You know what? My younger self, and I just had this question about 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
My younger self has always fed my older self. It's been the total opposite. Because when I was younger, I was a go-getter. You couldn't tell me what to do. I was the boss of everything and everybody. I had no fears. Literally, like, I used to fight my dad. Like, whatever. If he came at me with anything, I'm like, you can't tell me what to do. And I feared my dad, but I never backed down. I never took no for, you know, like a lot of people like, oh, you know, no, I'm not taking it laying down. So my younger me, I have to look back, and I look back at old pictures like, man, why can't I get her back again? You know, where is she at? So I literally find myself going back to my younger self, because my younger self was out there fighting every day. When I had having my son at 15, I literally pursued every single day to prove someone wrong. That was my goal. My goal, it wasn't, you know, a lot of people, you know, it's like the pursuit of love or happiness and joy and peace. I didn't care about any of that. At the time, it was making sure that I was up every day hustling. It was a hustle.
Yeah.
If you're not hustling, you're not trying. So every day I say, if I can get that hustle back, if I can, you know, and I'm still doing, but to wake up every day with that driving force, because I had a little baby that was relying on me. So I had to do what I had to do for him. So that hustle, and that young 15-year-old girl, 16-year-old, and I'm out, my car was my hustle mobile. And that's what everybody, here she come in a hustle mobile. So I'm doing hair out the car. I'm helping people with groceries. I'm, you know, anything that I can do with those four wheels, we rolled every day. It was always something that I was doing, whether I was working 2 and 3 jobs and doing hair and taking my son when I was working midnights and getting up, and we're showering at work to get him to school, and me going to school and back to work again. So yeah, my younger me is still pushing me today.
That's so awesome.
Oh, it's so good. I have chills.
Yeah,
I love that.
so
Can I
great,
ask,
Anita.
is any of those the Hustmobile? Do you talk about the Hustmobile in any of your books?
I think in The Storm After the Storm, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I just got this like picture of these stories about the Hustmobile and like that fire that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe that's going to be something in the future.
Yeah.
And I mean, just in reading everything that she's done, you definitely have the hustle. You've got the hustle. You had it. But I think that something is so powerful here is because you've had these hard things that have come in, and they've really, like, you have the work ethic, like you have the grind. And I think people that have to go through those kinds of things, they understand what it means to work hard, right? And they can look back at that and say, yeah, I've done hard things, and that's taught me some really empowering lessons in life, you know. And so you speak from, that's why all these things that you've done, I think you speak some authenticity and realness to people, because you've had all these different experiences that you can bring forth and say, I've walked this walk.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
like I can talk to you.
Yeah.
You know.
I
And
can
you're meant to
relate.
be doing what you're doing. There's a reason you went through all that. I think you're meant to be doing what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
I think I believe there are no accidents. I think our paths are very nonlinear, and bad things happen to us, but I think that there's reasons that, you know, they do, and it's great that you're able to take all that stuff and use it for good.
Absolutely. People look at me all the time and say, how do you smile? You've gone through so much. How do you smile? And I said, well, you got to have agape love. You got to be able to forgive.
Yeah.
And if we don't forgive ourselves, we can't forgive anyone else. So I'm like, we walk, and it's like, well, I don't want to forget. Yeah, you're never going to forget it.
No.
But you forgive, because I want to have sweet sleep at night.
Exactly.
I want to rest well, because they're resting well. They're not thinking about me.
No.
They done moved on with their life. So
right.
what do I need to do that's going to help me? So I have to have the agape love to be able to forgive and move forward.
Beautiful.
And I'm living, you know. And when people call me, I have my brother, who I call him the wild hair. He'll grow a wild hair once a year and call me with some negativity. And I say, you done?
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I'm done. I said, okay, find one reason to smile, and hang up the phone. And
that's so
I know he's
good.
probably cussing me out on the opposite end, but I don't care. Like, I'm not here for that.
Right.
You know, I'm really not.
Okay. I have fun with talking to you, because that's how I am every day.
Right.
Too. I'm like, I don't have time for you. You got drama? No drama.
I don't have time.
I don't welcome it.
No. Yeah.
I think you said something so good there, the forgiveness thing, because I you know, part of the coaching program that I got certified in, that is a big part of the lesson that we had to go through. And it was something that I never really understood until I actually went through that. Because forgiveness is not about forgiving other people. I mean, that's part of it, but they don't care. They don't care. Forgiveness is about you forgiving yourself and letting go. It's about you finding peace. And you can always tell when I'm working with people that have not been able to forgive themselves. There is a resentment. There is still an emotion that is tied to whatever it is. It's still coming up for them. And you know when you're at peace because you no longer have the emotion that is attached to the event. You don't forget it, but the emotion is gone.
Yeah. And I tell people with the storm after the storm, it was therapy for me. I needed that because I needed to release so many things that had gone on in my past. And my dad asked me, he said, why are you dredging up so much old stuff? And I said, well, I want you to go with me to my next few speaking engagements so you can see the people that are being touched by my story. And of course they would ask, well, where's Dad? Because my dad and I had a tumultuous relationship on and off. And they said, well, where's your dad? And I said, Dad, raise your hand. And he's, hey, y'all. And they're like, oh, my God, he's here? Wow. You all are talking? I said, yes. You know, I love my dad, and I had to forgive him for his selfishness. I had to forgive him for a lot of unorthodox things that he did, and he couldn't believe that I put it in black and white. But it's my story. Why can't I share my story? It's my truth. I walk in it every single day. And there are so many other young women and girls that have gone through it, that will go through it. And it's sad, but it happens every single day. So they have to be able to see someone like me to say, oh my God, she went through that. And she's not harboring any ill will. And she made it through. And she's doing so much more now. Okay, I can do that too. And I know that my words and my book and anything else that God has allowed me to do is not in vain. So I'm thankful, and I just appreciate that. So I always leave everyone with the 3 C's, and it's change, choice, and chance. No matter how you flip it, you have to take a chance. You have to make a choice in order to see the change. In order to see a change in your life, you have to make a choice. But in order for those things to happen, you got to take a chance. So no matter what we do, every day that we wake up, we have to choose. Just like the person laying next to you, husband, wife, friend, partner, whatever you want to call it, we choose them every day, right? Yeah. We're making choices every day, whether we get up and we walk to work or ride a bike or drive a car. We make a choice. We're taking a chance with our lives every single day. But we have to realize if there's anything negative that's happening, if we're making a 360 constantly, how do we, instead of making a 360, we need to make that 180. Where we're flipping. We don't want a 360. We're doing the same thing over and over, coming up with the same results. Let's make that 180 and see the change.
Yes.
Fun stuff. Are you motivated? You feeling good? You'll be here all day. This is so awesome. Okay, so one last question, then we'll do some fun. I want to ask you, I know you got this thing coming up in Zimbabwe. You're leaving in May, right?
Yes.
So what's the next big project after that? Is it, you got something else in the works that we don't know about yet?
I'm trying to think.
She's gonna have something new. It might be after, but she'll come up with something.
I can't think right now. I'm always doing something.
It'll come to you. You don't have to figure it out. You've got this next big thing coming up. That's a pretty big project.
Yeah, that's big. That's huge. That's huge.
How long will you be there?
I'll be there 2 weeks.
Okay.
But what I did just do 2 weeks ago, I had a trailer that was filled with all kind of goodies that was supposed to go to the Gambia in West Africa in 2020. But of course, COVID hit and changed the trajectory of everything. So there was a grassroots organization in Marlin, Texas that was launching, and they didn't have anything. So my dad and I drove the trailer down, and she kept saying, I can come pick it up. I said, no, you can't come pick it up. Like, it's a really big trailer with a lot of stuff. So she had her giving day. Their church had their giving day on the 2nd. And we had men's clothing, women's clothing, children's clothing, diapers, sanitary napkins, hygiene products. Like, it filled up an entire shelter shed that she had. And she's like, I had no idea it was this much stuff. But to be able to help launch a grassroots organization was huge.
Awesome.
So
and her dad drove it with her. I love that.
Yeah, my dad came with me.
That's so fun. I love it. See, that's that story coming all back full circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's full circle. So good. Okay.
I love it. Let's do some rapid fire, shall we?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to ask some quick questions.
Okay. They're never quick, but we say that we attempt to make them quick.
Okay.
You starting?
I'm starting.
Okay.
First concert.
Janet Jackson.
Oh,
Velvet Rope. Yeah.
Janet Jackson. That's fun.
Oh, I know. I'm like trying to think what was the key song in that. It wasn't Rhythm Nation. That was Velvet Rope was before, wasn't it?
I can't remember. That was my first concert. I was 23.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was trampled at a concert I tried to go to, so I was terrified to go to a concert.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Favorite food?
I don't have a favorite food.
Don't have a favorite.
But I can say, yes, I do. I love sweet potatoes.
I like sweet potatoes too.
Any kind of sweet potatoes. Baked sweet potato, yams.
Do you put marshmallows on them?
I will.
You're so good like that. I don't do that
Look,
very
I
often,
will,
but they are good.
but no, yeah.
I don't do that. So my mom used to make, well, she probably still does. I don't get to go back, but she'll make sweet potatoes with marshmallow and butter, and they're so good.
So good.
So lethal, but so good.
If you could have any superpower for the day, like interesting, weird, supernatural superpower, what would it be?
To be able to fly over traffic. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. I would be able to take my car and just bypass everyone.
I'm thinking like George Jetson right now.
Yeah, my patience is a little short. And I don't have road rage. I always play my music. But if I could just fly up in my vehicle and just say, oh, I'm home now.
You're too busy hustling. You grinding, girl. You don't have time for that, right?
I can get from point A to point B,
yeah,
0.5 seconds. Yeah, I need to be able to fly.
I get too patient in cars too, like in traffic. No, if I could just I'd be waiting on that. I had a good. Okay, favorite travel destination.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
I love New York is one of my favorite places, and I'll say Africa is second in line, and third would be Dubai.
Oh wow, I've never been to Dubai.
It's beautiful.
That's from my accelerator's in Dubai right now.
Oh, really?
So doing all his videos from Dubai. He left Canada. He was in Spain, went to Canada. Now he's in Dubai. He travels all over the life.
I'm going to wrap this up with what is in your Amazon cart?
What's in my Amazon cart? Actually, I have, oh my God, I was just looking at flutes. My birthday party is coming up. So I'm ordering some plastic flutes for my birthday. That's in my cart right now. And I literally need to go
and order the colorful plastic flutes.
Like no, those? Not the color. No, they're not colorful. They're just the white plastic ones. The drinking flutes, the champagne flutes for my birthday. I'm doing a champagne wall.
My Pied Piper.
No. I'm doing a champagne wall, and I need champagne flutes. So it's literally in my cart right now. Good. I left it in there yesterday.
Don't forget to buy it.
I'm not going to forget because I need them in, soon.
I love that question. It always cracks me up to see some people are like, I don't have anything in there. And then the people that do, we always find out funny stuff, like what they have in there.
Yeah.
So that's so great. Wonderful. We're so glad you could come in the studio today, Anita.
Thank you. This was
so good to see you.
Awesome. Yeah. Anita, and if our audience wanted to learn a little bit more about you and what you've got going on so they can keep up, where do we want to send them?
You can send them to AnitaEHawkins.com.
Okay, perfect. We'll make sure, too, when this goes out that we get that link in there and then tag you in the appropriate places so they know where to find you.
Perfect.
This was fun.
Yeah. Good. All right. We do want to say to our listeners, of course, if you enjoy our show, please be sure to give us a rating both on iTunes and Facebook because we can't do this without you, and hit the subscribe button on YouTube.
And I want to leave you with a parting thought.
We lost notes in this one. They went flying today.
Let me see. Oh, I like this one for you.
Okay.
This one is from John C. Maxwell.
Okay.
Dreams don't work unless you do.
Absolutely.
That is one of my favorite speakers. John Maxwell, yes.
John Maxwell.
I love John Maxwell. He's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
And to live extraordinary, you must start. And every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We will see you next time.